And uh-oh, he's able to pick up his army, and he's going to be moving. Oh no, Sieghetzt is completely caught out of position once more. Great play by WhosYourDaddy. WhosYourDaddy able to start picking up away all these probes. And ooh, a Storm going on top of this army, but able to quickly dodge that. And Storm's once again going on top of the army. This time he's doing a lot, taking a lot of damage, and able to feed back those medevacs. But will he be able to do a lot of damage to this Nexus? He will be able to in fact snipe off these Nexus. I don't know where this army of Marines and Marauders came from, but they completely got wiped out by the army of Sieghetzt at this time. Now Sieghetzt is going to have the army advantage. If I were him, I would push at the fact that he just did lose his Nexus. The third base for WhosYourDaddy is going to be up. There's not going to be any sort of mining going on from that base whatsoever, so essentially they are going to be equal in bases, but Sieghetzt is going to be ahead in that army supply, but he does not have any High Templars at this time. Will not be able to do that much damage to that Marine Marauder ball. Looks like they will be engaging. Zealots are going to be charging. Good force fields mean that this army will not be able to stim back and not be able to kite the Zealots. Zealots are going to be charging into the battle. Carrier is going to be doing a lot of damage. These Vikings aren't focusing firing now. Now they are, but they were firing at the interceptors. And will he be able to pick up this carrier? Looks like the Stalkers were able to kill off the last Viking, but there's also going to be more Vikings in play right now. But this carrier is dangerously low in health. I would micro that back if I were Sieghetzt is taking a lot of damage from these Marines and Marauders, but there's also going to be a lot of Stalkers. SCVs are going to be pulled off the line to start repairing that bunker, and the Vikings were able to snap off that one last carrier. There's going to be the second carrier, one last carrier is going to be sniped as well by these Vikings. Looks like he will in fact lose that carrier, and Sieghetzt will have to be moving back and retreating. At this time, that's actually going to be a lot of idle SCVs. He really needs to start putting these SCVs back into the mineral line, lest they are, and a lot of transferring SCVs for WhosYourDaddy, sending them all to that third expansion, or rather third base, second expansion. There we go, and the Nexus 4 Sieghetzt is also on the way, and he did lose 2 carriers in that exchange. That was actually a lot of damage dealt by WhosYourDaddy. And if we look at the units lost tab, it looks like there's Sieghetzt is going to be the one with the more units lost. 99, 100, basically same amount of units lost, but Sieghetzt did lose those more valuable units in that exchange. So right now Sieghetzt will have to do something to catch up. Looks like he will be going for another expansion really quickly off right after getting this expansion. I would like to see him transfer a bit more probes out of his main. These probes are essentially not really doing that much because of the fact there's not enough mineral patches for them. It would be nice to see them being transferred here as soon as possible, but you know, in your time. Anyways, looks like there's also going to be another command center on the way for WhosYourDaddy, but Sieghetzt might be able to snipe this if he's lucky. These Zealots are going to be going into position to try and snipe this. Will he get the cancel off? Oh, looks like he was not in fact able to get that cancel on that command center, so that's actually going to be doing a lot of damage to WhosYourDaddy. But looks like these units are going to be able to in fact basically intercept them. Will they be able to do a lot of damage? These charge-outs are doing a lot of damage to this bio ball, but these Vikings are going to land. Oh, good storm on top of the Vikings means the Vikings will be taking a lot of damage. Every storm counts, and every Viking counts in this composition, in fact, because if you're able to essentially take out all the Vikings, these carriers will be able to do a lot of damage. These Vikings are on the ground, taking a lot of damage from those storms. These carriers are now in position, able to pick away at this army. This army is so weak. They're all the yellow and red, and oh my god, taking a lot of damage, and he will be losing this factory as well. These carriers will be able to do a lot of damage and push this army away. At the same time, Sieghetzt is going to be working on Protoss Shield level 1. I'm actually interested to see why he's doing this. He has ground level 2 upgrade done, and he needs to start working on 3. But armor level 1, he did not work on armor level at all. And the only guess I could see why he would be doing this is so that his carriers also do get that upgrade as well. I mean, right now they're 000, whereas his ground army is 200. So that means if he does get the shield upgrade, it is going to be benefiting, or whether you're just helping his ground army getting that shield upgrade, but it'll also be helping his air army, in fact, so he does not have to work on separate upgrades from that cybernetics core. 3 auto workers at your guess. You need to move those homes, but anyways, just putting it out there. But yeah, so that means he will not have to work on separate upgrades for armor or anything like that if he works on the shield. But the problem is, if the Terran player decides to go for Ghost, then that shield upgrade is essentially worthless. I mean, basically the shields will be instantly wiped out by one spell cast, and that will mean that he will not be able to use that upgrade effectively, because it will be completely nullified by one EMP. So we'll see if that plays out. We'll see if WhosYourDaddy will be able to get that another like EMP off and be able to wipe them out. But at this time there is no Ghost Academy, so I would like to see WhosYourDaddy get a Ghost Academy as soon as possible. It looks like there's also going to be a massive drop But Sieghetzt, once again, great pylon placement will mean that he will be on top of this. And WhosYourDaddy is effectively going to drop his entire army to take out one pylon. He killed the pylon before he was even able to finish dropping. So looks like he is going to stim and run into this alternate natural of Sieghetzt. Will he be able to pick up the Nexus? In fact, he's just going to go for the army of Sieghetzt, able to pick up a lot of stalkers. But looks like these zealots are going to be in place to deal with this. Being really like liberal with those stims, constantly stimming before they even run out, before they even use it all. And now these zealots are able to do a lot of damage now. And ooh, that's going to be a lot of carriers in position to deal with it. There's going to be no Viking support by WhosYourDaddy, so these marauders are going to effectively fall instantaneously to these carriers. Now these carriers, there's going to be a lot of carriers out on the field. 2 more are also on the way. Air level weapons 1 as well. So these carriers for Sieghetzt are going to be able to do a lot of damage because there's not enough Vikings out on the field at this time. If we look, the units have 5 Vikings to 5 carriers, but there's also going to be 4 on the way. So, you know, if given enough time, WhosYourDaddy will be able to deal with this, but that's also a lot of carriers to deal with. I mean, the reason why you don't see too many carriers is because there's so many things that are able to snipe off these capital ships. You know, like I said, and the Vikings would be that unit for the Terran army, but right now there's not enough Vikings. And if Sieghetzt is able to get out a lot of storms on top of the Vikings, able to snipe those Vikings before they do a lot of damage, he will be able to in fact have these carriers go by unchecked. And in fact, there are going to be a lot of High Templars out at this time, working away at these rocks with these carriers and these zealots. Man, I'm just super excited to be seeing all these carriers. These interceptors look sick, man, sick as hell. You never get to see carriers used in high level of play, and this is, like I said, pretty high level of play. I mean, I think he is a diamond player, so that's still pretty high. So I'm really glad to see carriers being utilized in this level of play, and looks like there might be a confrontation at this time. A lot of Vikings are going to be out on the field. We will see if these Vikings will be able to snipe these carriers. These carriers are semi out of position at this time, a little bit too far away from the army. These Vikings are going to be swooping into position. Will they be able to do a lot of damage? He will be able to. Will he be able to in fact snipe it up? Zealots are going to be charging into the army of WhosYourDaddy. WhosYourDaddy needs to start storming these Vikings, but the High Templars are so far away. In fact, he will be losing a 1 carrier, but these Vikings are completely stacked. Good storm on top of these Vikings mean that he will be losing the Vikings. He will be losing every single Viking in this exchange. Good storm on top of the bio ball as well. His entire army is in the brand at this time. 1 more storm will be able to completely clean it out. And yes, he was able to clean that out, no problem at all. These carriers are going to be pretty much unchecked at this point. Only 1 Viking out at being made in this production at this time. 4 Vikings are going to be on the field right now, and 12 Marines at a time. So this is basically what I'm seeing as a response. He's going to be making a lot of Marines to try and basically Marines and Vikings to counteract the carriers, because these carriers are getting pretty numerous and they're getting pretty much almost unstoppable at this time. There's just so many carriers. He does not have enough units to be able to focus fire down, so he's trying to get as much anti-air as possible. And stim Marines are dangerous to carriers. They could instantly wipe out your entire interceptor army if you just let them A-move. So like basically your carriers are going to be worthless. No interceptors mean they will not do any damage at all. Or if you just stim the Marines and get under the carriers and snipe them off, they will also be doing a crap ton of damage to those carriers, able to effectively snipe them. But the problem is, there's also going to be a lot of High Templars out for Sieghetzt. So if Sieghetzt is able to get some stores on top of these Marines and Vikings, they will be super effective against those, because Marines, their HP is relatively low, and so is the Viking. The Viking isn't that beefy of a unit, so if you're able to get those storms on top of the army, you will be doing a lot of damage. And holy missile turrets, Batman, that's a lot of missile turrets in a certain position. I mean, okay, look, if Sieghetzt decided to go this way, oh, a couple missile turrets. But for whatever reason, if Sieghetzt comes here, he is screwed. So looks like WhosYourDaddy is going to be placing those missile turrets in a very strange location. At the same time, Sieghetzt is getting really close to that 200 maxed out army situation, and WhosYourDaddy is pretty much, he is getting close as well, but that's a lot of Marines at this time. And oh my god, that's very risky, putting all those Marines into a medevac with 14 HP. Repair that thing, man. But it looks like another engineering bay is going to go down. Is he planning on doing double upgrades at the same time? Looks like Sieghetzt, looks like he will be looking to take this game at this time. He's going to be pushing with a massive army of carriers. A lot of High Templars are going to be in place, able to pick off one carrier. But oh my god, there's a lot of storms being stacked on top of those Vikings. And holy snap, good storm on top of these units means, and there's not going to be any medevac out for these Marines. These Marines are going to be completely in the red, and a lot more stims. He's liberally stimming. Once again, these Marines are going to be so weak. If one storm goes on top of these Marines, they will be completely falling, but it looks like there's not going to be a storm. And it looks like, yeah, this High Templar was not able to storm that, making more Archons and able to completely pick away at the army. And oh my god, there's going to be so many carriers at this time. What dot did I see? Looks like he did lose that drop, and the attack is going to still be commencing at the base of WhosYourDaddy. And these I love how they're just kind of just chilling here. These Archons aren't even doing. They're just like, okay, yeah, you guys go attack, and carriers are just going to chill and blast away and everything else. These Marines are able to pick away at these interceptors, so these carriers are essentially going to be worthless if he's not careful. But the Zealots are also going to be doing a lot of damage to these Marines unless he's able to kite them, and he's going to start kiting them out at once. But also, a lot of Marines are going to be streaming out of these production facilities. He needs to start making more Marines and Vikings at this time, but good storm on top of the Marines will mean that they're all going to be in the low HP. And oh man, will he be able to do enough damage though? These carriers are still doing a lot of damage. Archons will be able to do a lot of splash damage to these Marines. The Marines are going to be falling left and right. These Vikings are going to be targeting interceptors instead of carriers. He really needs to start considering focus firing these carriers, and the carriers are going to be in the base of WhosYourDaddy. And WhosYourDaddy, oh my god, he has so many Zealots in his base, and WhosYourDaddy is going to drop the GG. What a good game between these two players. The Zealots were able to, in fact, come into the base of WhosYourDaddy and do a lot of damage. But wow, Sieghetzt able to do a lot of damage with these carriers, and we're usually never seeing carriers used in this matchup. But I mean, not even in this matchup, but in general. But good play by Sieghetzt would mean that he was able to use the Protoss Air effectively. I was really happy to start cast this game because it was an amazing game. Who uses Protoss Air? Not that often. And who uses Protoss Air capital ships? Never, man, never. So I was really excited to see that fleet beacon go up. It was so depressing when the fleet beacon was sniped, but he was able to get that fleet beacon up once more. And oh my god, the one building we never see. The one building we never see. Thank god he was able to start using that. And so yeah, great game by these two players. And I will be casting more. I'm excited to start casting again. There was a little bit of a hiatus this weekend, but that hiatus is effectively over, and I'm going to be casting more, guys. So see you guys in my next game. Peace.